What's up, guys? I'm MJF. Thank you guys for coming back to another video. Today we're going to be reacting to three horror stories animated completion of September 2020 by a channel called Doctor No Sleep Animation. This should be very interesting. Make sure you like and subscribe, turn on the post notifications, and comment down below if you ever experienced a creepy incident that happened in your life. Without further ado, let's begin.
Summer, for me and my friend Jake, usually only meant one thing: endless hiking trips in the mountainous terrain around our city. While traveling far away was a luxury we couldn't afford, we'd frequently spend the weekend camping out. There were plenty of new places to discover in our vicinity: new lakes, forests, and even caves. Jake and I had randomly met during one of our many solo hikes. I found him sitting by the lake with a cup of lukewarm coffee. He offered me some, and we got to talking. That was the start of our decade-long friendship. This summer, due to the quarantine and all, nothing sounded better than some extreme social distancing. We both had a week off work and decided to travel along one of our favorite treks through the mountains. We equipped ourselves with ample amounts of supplies and emergency phones and suitable clothes. Then we set out on our new adventure. The trip brought us through an amazing green valley. After a rainy spring, both plant and animal life thrived around us. We traversed the endless fields near an abandoned farm, only contrasted by the forest and mountains in the distance. Personally, the mountain itself was my favorite part of the journey. I enjoyed the effort required to walk up. Once we reached the first plateau, we got a brilliant view of the valley beneath. The sun was just about to set, and we decided to make camp for the night. We made a simple bonfire and sat down with a few cups of whiskey while we told our usual round of ghost stories. Since alcohol runs straight to my bladder, it wasn't long before I needed to take a leak.
Oh no, what's gonna happen? Oh no, I'm just gonna assume that some bear is gonna come up and scare him, and then he's gonna get killed or something.
And let loose. There, in the cliff wall, I noticed a cave entrance. It wasn't particularly big, but large enough for any adult to crouch down and get inside. We'd taken that very same path twice before, but neither
Is it Brennan?
had ever seen it.
Yeah.
I excitedly ran back to tell Jake about my discovery. Even in our inebriated state, we knew better than to go exploring a cave at night after drinking. But once morning came around, we would be ready. We awoke early to the sun rising above the horizon. Even though we each had a few glasses of whiskey, we'd managed to elude the curse of a hangover. With little hesitation, we packed the necessary equipment for spelunking. We didn't have much rope to speak of, so climbing down or up rocky walls was out of the question. But as long as the cave could
What's that sound?
be traversed solely on foot, we'd be fine. Jake went first, holding on to the stronger flashlight, while I followed behind to mark our path at each intersection. Once we'd gotten past the first narrow section, we reached a chamber where we could fully stand up. It was a massive boneyard, full of partially eroded limestone. I took a closer look and found pale insects crawling around inside the tiny maze.
Insect?
Hey,
Holy
Jake,
shit, they look
check
like
this out,
cockroaches.
I yelled, my voice echoing through the cave.
Oh god, man, why? That's stupid. You might alert a bear or a bat or something. That's dumb, which is dumb move.
What the hell?
Yeah,
We
that's what I was
explored
saying.
many
What the
caves
hell?
together, but had never seen anything like it. Better leave them alone. Don't know if they're poisonous or whatever. Already in the first chamber, we made an interesting discovery. The cave was looking good. We made our way through the boneyard, only to be met by a narrow network of caves we had to crawl through. I'll check if I can get through to the other side, Jake said. A few of them were just dead ends, while others were simply too narrow. After trying about 4 of the passages, we finally found one that led to another chamber. I marked our path.
I'm thinking that in this story they're gonna get lost or something and then you're gonna get killed by some bear or something. I don't know. That's what I'm assuming, but let's just keep watching and see what happens.
Crawled further in. The room we entered was the biggest I'd ever seen.
Maybe like a creature or like a person or something.
Stretched 20 feet down into a shallow underground river. We only had a narrow path to follow to the other side. Watch your step. Let's try not to slide off the cliff, I said. Of course, with that warning, Jake pretending to lose his grip. I instinctively reached out to grab him, only to be met with laughter. Real funny, keep going. We spent a couple hours getting familiarized with the caves, making sure we could find our way back out. I marked it pretty accurately, and we theoretically had enough batteries to keep the flashlights going
To choke a horse.
3 days straight. Still, we had a hike to continue, and when we realized the cave just kept going deeper into the mountain, we had to turn around. Just then, something echoed through the cave. It sounded like a wet growl coming from further ahead.
Oh no. It has to be a bear. Please be a bear, please be a bear, please be a bear.
And suddenly, I realized just how cold it had gotten. Yeah, we're definitely turning around, Jake said. He was joking, but through his smile, I could tell he was nervous. Then we heard a similar sound coming from behind us.
I don't think he was joking, dude.
Alright, what the hell is that sound? Jake asked. I don't know, but let's just get out of here. We followed the path back quickly, knowing exactly where to go. Even then, the narrow tunnels we had to crawl through drastically slowed us down. In the distance, we heard the broken growls and roars growing closer. Hurry up, I told Jake as panic started to set in. Wait, there's something on the other, he managed to say before he suddenly started screaming. I followed him as quickly as I could. We made it back to the room with the
I wonder what that is.
but
I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you it has to be a bear. I just don't know yet, but I think it's a bear.
Jake! No response. I laid down and peeked over the cliff edge. Jake wasn't there. But I got a glimpse of one of the creatures that had growled. It was a pale, hairless thing that looked like a large, slender...
Oh wait, it's not a bear. It's like a pig or like a goat kind of pig thing, creature of some sort. What? I'm generally confused. I thought it was gonna be like a bear, but like a weird type of creature, kind of like kind of guys. If you see this, it kind of looks like Siren Head. It kind of does, but in an animal form.
Dog. It had no eyes, but its mouth extended abnormally far back towards its throat.
Holy
Its whole face was
shit!
rather thin, perfectly fitted to dig small creatures out of the cave walls. I called out for my friend once again, but he was simply gone. If the creatures had pulled him down, there was a good chance he died in the fall. Unfortunately, that theory was quickly put to rest as I heard him screaming from the head of the river.
He died? That is dark.
I saw streaks of blood mixed in the clear water.
You guys thought we're gonna see my beanie. You guys ain't gonna see my head anytime soon. One of these days, okay, I'll make a deal. January 2nd, 2021, I will reveal my hair. I will reveal my head. Stay tuned for that.
But there was no way I could get down to help him. Then, more of the dog-like creatures approached. I couldn't stay
Wait, there's 4 of them? Not just one? Holy shit. That's a lot of creatures.
Did not change anything on my computer.
Instead, I decided to flee the cave, grab the phone, and call for help. It took me 20 minutes just to get out, but luckily none of the creatures took chase. Once out, I called for rescue, which would arrive by helicopter. The minutes it took for them to arrive were the longest in my entire life.
Okay, I'm talking about the video right now.
But I knew they needed me there to guide them. As soon as they arrived, I brought them into the first chamber. To all of our surprises, the cave just ended there. The narrow tunnel we'd crawled through earlier had simply vanished.
That is fucking creepy. You walk through a narrow path that you came from, and then you go back to that narrow path, and it's no longer there. Now that would really creep me out. That would really be some weird, freaky ass, witchcraft shit right there. Like, holy fuck.
There were
that's creepy as hell.
Blood from where I crawled through.
Oh, what the heck? What?
With me, but that didn't exactly help us find him. It has been a month since he vanished. I've since tried to find the cave again.
No
but
way.
The main entrance has been erased from existence. Whatever happened inside that cave will remain a mystery till the end of time. During the first few days of the storm, we laughed at its irony. June was just about to end, and our town was famously known for its beautiful, if not a bit dry, weather. As an exceptionally pale person myself, I rather enjoyed the never-ending downpour. But then, as July went on, it only got worse. With our town being situated in a valley, there wasn't really anywhere the rain could go. Time passed, and before long, we were trapped by a devastating flood. Those who could afford it moved away to safer places. Our inhabitants weren't particularly rich, so for most of us, that wasn't an option. The sick, the poor, and just the plain stubborn stayed behind to fight the incessant flow of water. At first, we tried redirecting the waters towards the lowest point of the valley. The valley quickly filled to the brim.
This is almost my hair, guys. A little bit of my hair.
Brief struggle. The flood
You can see that
our town center.
Very soon.
Buildings quickly perished, only leaving behind the neighborhoods on the hills above. But even for them, it was just a matter of
Hold on, guys, 1 second. I think I have a high chair. Give me 1 sec. Alright, let's keep reacting. Hold on, guys. I have to use the restroom. I'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. Hold on, I'll be back in 3, 2.
Time. A group of people had gotten themselves trapped with flood in the town center.
Yeah.
They'd taken shelter within the local hotel, a fairly sturdy building with an easily accessible rooftop. Unfortunately, due to the storm, rescue by helicopter was out of the question. As a last resort, we decided to retrieve them with whatever small boats we had available. I was quick to sign up for the rescue team as a volunteer. There were about 4 groups, each with a designated boat. Mine had 4 crew members, including myself. We kept close to the other boats, while also making sure the stream didn't carry us away. Johnson, my supervisor, kept a watchful eye out for any survivors. We slowly traversed the drowned, narrow streets, inching our way towards the hotel. "Hey, there's someone in the water," Johnson suddenly shouted. I quickly redirected my attention towards where he was pointing. Sure enough, a hand was sticking up from the water, seemingly frozen in place. It was an odd sight because we couldn't see anything beneath the surface. It was simply too dirty. Johnson grabbed onto the arm while we steadied the boat. He gave it a solid pull, but the hand wouldn't budge. "I think they're stuck. Come help me," he said.
Fuck, what the hell? You just cut and bleeped it out. What the... But why is that hand like frozen in place? I want to know, like, is that guy like a killer or what? Or...
As he pulled it again. After the third and final pull, the hand finally moved. As he dragged it up from the water, it only revealed more of the arm. He kept pulling and pulling, but the arm never ended. It was just an impossibly long limb with a hand attached at its end. What the hell is this thing?
What the hell is this thing? What is this thing? We want to figure out what it is.
Question. The hand grabbed onto Johnson and pulled him into the water at an incredible speed. We couldn't even react before he'd been taken under. "Johnson!" I called out in panic. As we searched for him in the murky waters below, we heard screaming.
Why in the hell did you save him? If you were going in there, you should have like put like a little floaty thingy, like a little lifeguard floaty thing around him, and then pull him in. Like, why didn't you save him? Like, what good friends to have in a rescue team if you don't save somebody? Like, oh, I didn't know how to react. That it's not you don't know how to react. Save the guy so he doesn't get killed by whatever the hell the creature is. Common sense. Help. If someone's in danger, you don't just sit there and watch him, drown. You save him.
Stretched out from the water and was picking off the passengers one by one. They just emerged and swept through the air until they found something. Then they pulled whatever they could grab onto back with them. "Keep down," I yelled as I threw myself towards the floor of the boat.
Like this.
An arm barely missing my head as I ducked
There's this
under.
empty box outside where it belongs.
But it was too late.
Shit back
By the
in the
time I
car.
realized what was going on, every single passenger, besides myself, had been taken. Only a minute had passed, and I was the only one left. Hundreds of arms emerged, and I had little choice but to stay.
There's like hundreds of people who died in that. What the hell?
I felt the
Why would their
boat
arms be
swept
sticking
away
out?
by the
That's
current,
so confusing.
but I couldn't stop it. I just had to lay there, hope to eventually hit solid ground. I listened to the soft splashes from hands breaching the surface. With most of the buildings on the brink of collapse,
The brink.
they weren't places I could seek refuge. An hour passed as I slowly floated through the streets. Then, I heard a voice. Oh my god, he's still alive! My boat suddenly stopped, and I could feel someone dragging me with them. I peeked up to see a few survivors stranded on a rooftop. They'd managed to throw down a rope and were pulling me to safety. Climb up, fast! They yelled at me. I didn't need to be asked twice. I wrapped the rope around myself and quickly started my ascent. Hurry! I glanced behind me to see more hands reach out from the water. One managed to graze my leg, but I swiftly kicked it away. Thanks to the survivors, I'd been saved. What in the actual hell are these things? I asked.
What in the
Out of
actual
breath,
hell are these
horrified.
things?
No one responded. Whatever the monstrosities were, we just knew they had come with the flood. Still, it wouldn't stop raining, which meant rescue was an impossible task. Hours turned to days, and more hands emerged from the water.
Wow.
The arms that held them up had multiple joints.
I'm gonna have to take a
allowing
drink
them
real quick,
to
guys. Give me a sec.
blindly grab at anything getting too close. Every now and then, someone would get too brave, just get too close to the edge. The hands didn't hesitate and struck at any opportunity to claim another victim. Just
Claim
the first
another
mate,
victim.
I
The victim
survived.
dies tonight.
For days, we survived on little more than the rainwater that fell from above.
I'm sorry, God, my eyes are like
It
fucking.
wasn't until another week passed before the rain finally stopped. By then, we were all on the brink of death. Too
Damn.
weak to make any attempt at escape.
All of them died just because of of 100 hands that don't even know what they are. Pulled them in and then they died. Really weird story, but very unique, I guess.
We waited for the waters to recede, which took another 2 days. When rescue finally came on foot, only 3 of us had survived. Our town ended up as a wasteland, with most of the buildings either washed away or simply collapsed. Any hope of rebuilding would take years, but I doubt anyone wishes to return. The weird thing is that no bodies have been recovered. Despite a thorough search of the region, it's as if they vanished into thin air. Even the hands that killed them have left no trace. By any measurable evidence, they never existed. More than 50 people died during the months of the flood, a fact that cannot be refuted. But the manner of their death is only known to the few of us that survived the ordeal. If you ever see strange rains cover your home or town, just leave everything. Whatever you're staying behind for, it's not worth your life. For 20 years, a kid would go missing in our town each summer. They'd vanish without a trace and without evidence of foul play nor proof that anyone had actually died. No bodies were recovered during the investigations, nor was anyone retrieved alive. By all means, they seemed to have disappeared into thin air. Naturally, such occurrences come along with a multitude of conspiracy theories, ranging from monsters to kidnappers with supernatural powers. Most of us, however, blame the lake. It was a beautiful piece of water hidden in the woods of Sagatuck.
I know, guys, this is a long video, so just
Despite
make sure you
appearing
like and subscribe and watch the whole thing.
still
'Cause
on the surface,
I didn't know this video was good. This video was a long video, not like normal videos. It was like 10 or 15 minutes long. So, anyways, continue.
There'd always been a strong undercurrent around the center of the lake. It was theorized that it was caused by an underground river, but thus far, no one had been able to prove it. So, after multiple ignored warnings to stay away, the police simply put up a barrier around the center where the current felt the strongest. Me and my friends were some of the many people to go swimming there, despite the rumors. We absolutely loved the lake, with its crystal clear waters and bizarre lack of animal life. We'd spend many days there every summer, never leaving until our skins had turned crispy red, or by the tempting promise of ice cream from our parents. We were young and we felt invincible. Years passed and the three of us were about to graduate high school. While we were naturally excited to move on to college and new adventures, we desperately needed one last hurrah to say goodbye. So, that summer of 2017, we decided to solve the mystery of the missing children. Thanks to our part-time jobs, we'd been able to save up a decent amount of cash. We used some of it to purchase cheap bird-watching cameras. Our plan was to place them in the areas where the kids had last been seen. It just so happened that most of those areas were within Sagatuck Woods, concentrated around the lake. The whole area was weirdly shaped, which meant we'd have to keep an eye on parts of the lake ourselves. The center, in particular, was hard to get a view of from shore. We thought ourselves so clever to have come up with such a genius plan. Little did we know that the police had thought of the exact same scheme, only without results. Nevertheless, we set out on our venture to save our town, thinking nothing could stop us. By the time we had placed our cameras, no one had gone missing. We were hoping to catch the moment as it happened and swoop in to stop it. In hindsight, it was a poorly thought out plan, but we were teenagers. What else could one expect? We strategically put the cameras around the forest and some by the water. Each day, we'd collect the recordings to check the footage. In addition, we'd camp out around the lake and just enjoy the weather. The summer went on with little incident until the first week of August. Then, a kid by the name of Alex Florence had inexplicably
Kid
gone
with the
missing
name, man.
in the
I love how
middle
they
of the day.
describe his name.
He'd last been seen throwing a ball around with his sister by the lake. He was only 7 years old. The police did their usual search, checking street cameras and sending divers into the lake to search for drowned bodies. Still, nothing could be found. We went through the footage, but couldn't find anything. The only part we hadn't yet investigated was the center of the lake. I had just spent some extra money on a waterproof camera and figured we could at least find out where the current went. We connected the camera to a flashlight and tied it to a rope. We took a canoe and paddled past the barriers, ready to finally solve the mystery. Though we couldn't see the bottom of the lake, we expected it to be around 50 feet deep. I tossed the camera into the warm waters and measured the depth using the rope. Before long, it had sunk out of sight. 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet, 50. It had reached the supposed
Dr. Dot
bottom,
no sleep.
yet
Dr.
it
Dot
kept
no sleep.
sinking deeper and deeper. Within a few minutes, it had reached 100 feet. I looked at my friends in disbelief, wondering if it had been swept away. But based on the direction of the rope, it was just going further down. Once our rope had reached the end of its length, we had no choice but to pull it back up. Hopefully, the footage could provide us with some answers. We eagerly returned home and uploaded the recordings to my computer. The quality of the video was only semi-decent. At first,
Semi-decent?
it showed the clear
Semi-decent? I'm sorry. Let me correct you on my grammar, Dr. Dot no sleep. It's not semi. It's semi. Like a semi truck, like a tractor trailer. It's a semi. Semi-decent, not semi-decent. Why the hell would you call it? What? Bad pronunciation there. But I'm not going to say anything because it's a reaction video. Whatever. But correct your grammar, Dr. Dot no sleep. It's not semi, it's semi. Like a semi-trailer.
waters below, only
That was
lit
not
up
good
by a
grammar at all.
flashlight attached to the camera. It sank straight to the bottom at 50 feet, just as expected. Then we saw something else. It was just a tiny hole that opened and closed, pulsating like a mouth trying to chew on something. It only opened for brief periods of time, which is probably why it went unnoticed for so long. Nevertheless, it produced a current that immediately sucked in our camera.
Oh wow, they finally got it.
Pulled through a tiny tunnel, small enough for a child, but too narrow for an adult. The tunnel went on for another 20 feet or so.
Alright guys, well it's only 2 more minutes until it's over, which is going to be a long video.
There it kept sinking deeper until something horrific finally came to
His
view.
mouth is like... that's what his mouth looks
It
like.
was Alex Florence, the missing kid. He'd been partially digested by strange plants emerging from the cave wall. They reached out like tendrils, looking for food. The boy was little more than barren bones, only recognizable.
That is the saddest and darkest story I've ever heard in my life. Holy shit.
Fragments.
I'm not even joking, guys. I'm not even... I know the way that I said it sounded sarcastic, but no, I'm not... That's actually, like, the creepiest and the weirdest, darkest story I've ever heard in my life. Like, the darkest story I've ever heard in my life.
Still there. The camera sunk even deeper.
I can't believe this.
Last, we could see the cave.
Really interesting video so far. It was 30 minutes of 3 horror stories, so this is the longest video I've ever had recorded.
Hundreds, if not thousands.
Alright guys, thank you guys for watching the video. I'll see you on part 2.